Hello everyone, and welcome to our show this day on a, well, I think it's kind of a beautiful day because we could get a little bit of rain, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, Bill Walsh is here. He is the first vice president for Third Mutual. He's going to talk about, among other things, dryers, right? Right, he's sitting over there ready to go. Also, we have from Pacific Pain and Regenerative Medicine, we have Dr. Badai, and he's going to tell us about some of the services that they have. And from the Village Library, Eileen is here. And one of the topics she is going to talk about is they're showcasing some of the best picture movies over the years. They have in their collection, they have a lot of DVDs, so she's going to let us know which ones they have and how you can go ahead and get those and enjoy them. They've got quite a few. Now, as far as meetings, there are no meetings today for Monday. The next meeting will be tomorrow, and that is United's regular monthly board meeting. Now, let's get to the weather and what's happening. If you're watching us in the morning, there's already been little pockets of drizzle throughout Southern California and even Orange County. So this is going to be one of those days where we're going to have some sun, we're going to have some overcast, and we could have a few scattered showers. I don't think it's going to be much of anything. As we get into tomorrow, though, there is really throughout Southern California, there's about a 65 to 70% chance of rain. And what that means is that 65 to 70% of Southern California will get some sort of rain. That's actually, when you hear those percentages, that's actually what it means. So tomorrow, it's not going to be too much, but it'll be nice. And I think as we get to later on this evening, you'll start to see that come in a little bit more. We had at our house this morning, if you're watching this in the morning, there was just enough. It was a mist, really. That was all pretty much what it was. And it might have been just really the morning marine layer coming in. But I did see online that there were little pockets of drizzle throughout Orange County. So that's really what it's going to be. Now, as we get to Wednesday, I have 40% scattered showers. I think what's going to be happening is that in the morning will be pretty much overcast, and that's where, if we still get rain on Wednesday, that's where that will happen. And there's even a chance that if this system stays around, it could spill over to Thursday. So we'll see about that. Really, Wednesday, the bulk of it will be tomorrow, probably into Wednesday, and we'll just have to see as we go on for the next couple days. Then we move on to Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be in the low 70s and mostly sunny. So hopefully we get a little bit of rain out of this. Let's look around the county today and beyond, mostly cloudy with pockets of scattered showers. That's everywhere. Now, up in Big Bear, yeah, they got a good chance of snow coming in. I've heard they've already gotten a little bit. Although we're looking at, for Big Bear and those areas, we're looking at inches of snow, not feet, and they really need feet. They don't have much of anything up there, and certainly little to none man-made, or excuse me, little to none natural snow. It's all man-made, so they'll get a little bit up there. I did hear that this morning they were getting a little bit, so over the next few days they could get up to maybe 6-7 inches depending on the system. So that's good news for them. Even out in Palm Springs, only 69 today. And elsewhere, you can see in Orange County, no real difference between the beaches and the rest of Orange County in the upper 50s, and down in San Diego, about 62. So hopefully, we get a little drizzle coming in. We'll be back in just a moment.
Did you know that we are living longer, healthier lives than ever before? And did you know that social interaction, brain stimulation, and exercise improve your quality of life? Did you know the Saddleback College Emeritus Institute offers 200 tuition-free classes to older adults in South Orange County? With over 30-plus locations between Lake Forest and San Clemente, it has never been easier to take advantage of your third act of life. Sign up today.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Answers Today is a great program that we've just started at our Laguna hillside. A woman has a new symptom in their breast, whether it's new breast pain, breast lump, a rash on their breast that's new, they can call in and get into the office within 24 hours and be seen by a physician and have some imaging to have an answer before the end of that day. So this is a very powerful program. I would much rather spend the rest of my career preventing cancer than actually treating it.
At Diane's Hallmark, we're ready for Valentine's Day. Are you? Come in and see our great selection of cards and gifts. We have everything you need to show that special someone how much you care. And don't forget those grandkids either. Diane's Hallmark has many cards and gifts for them as well. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Marketplace Center, right next to Hobby Lobby. We have something for everyone. Come in today and take care of all your Valentine's Day needs.
Did you know that we are living longer, healthier lives than ever before? And did you know that social interaction, brain stimulation, and exercise improve your quality of life? Did you know the Saddleback College Emeritus Institute offers 200 tuition-free classes to older adults in South Orange County? With over 30-plus locations between Lake Forest and San Clemente, it has never been easier to take advantage of your third act of life. Sign up today. Did you know that we are living longer?
Well, as I said, Bill Walsh is with me right now. Good to see you, sir, as always. And got a few things to talk about today in third. And the first one is dryer replacement. So when it comes to dryers, I know this is something that you've been talking about and the cost. And so
Yes.
What are you folks looking at?
Well, last Monday, we had two resolutions in the Third Mutual Maintenance and Construction Committee that we're going to advance to the board. And basically what we are going to do is we're going to purchase somewhere near 300, a little over 300 commercial dryers, coin-operated commercial dryers. The first resolution was to have staff go out and find companies, quality companies that build commercial dryers with coin boxes in them, and come back to the board with some recommendations on cost of purchase and the implementation of that.
Are there certain companies that specialize?
Well,
in
like
that?
I think Speed Queen, Maytag,
Oh,
Whirlpool,
yeah.
you know,
Speed
names
Queen.
that you all know.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're going to go
But
out
they have
and
their
look at
commercial
those.
line.
Right, and
Yeah.
they make commercial. Right now we just have residential dryers, and we've looked at this for the last year and a half, 2 years, and we're running a deficit of about $180,000 a year over what we collect in coin boxes. Now, a lot of people who live in units that have, you know, that don't live in three-story buildings, or units that don't have access to, you know, the ability to put washers and dryers in their units, like the standalone laundry rooms and things, don't realize, I think, that those folks pay an additional assessment every year for to do the replacement and repair of washers and dryers. So we feel that with these commercial dryers, we're going to wind up with a better product that's going to require less maintenance over the long haul, and actually do a better job of drying clothes.
Right.
And so that was the first resolution, or motion resolution. The second was that we're going to put this off till the last quarter of this year.
Okay.
Because the timing of it is, since we've got finance issuing the assessments, it's going to be better to, if we're going to reduce the assessment that those folks in three-story buildings and who use standalone laundry rooms, if we're going to reduce that assessment, we haven't decided how much or what.
Right.
It'll be much easier for finance to just put that into next year's assessments. And so it'll be easier. And I can probably say with pretty accurate statement that we will probably be charging 50 cents to dry
Okay.
a load of laundry, and that is just so we can stay in line with United, who's up their washer fees to $1 a wash. And in fact, we looked at the finance numbers on coin collection at the finance committee on Tuesday, and we've been kind of going steady, or maybe even down a little bit on our collections. All of a sudden we had a spike of over $5,000 in. And we're thinking that there's a number of people in United that might be coming over to some of those standalone laundry rooms and washing their clothes. Because they only have to pay 50 cents in third.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know that for a fact, but it was kind of a,
right.
What's going on?
So the dryers are, you're looking at towards the end of the year. Does that mean they'll be put in, or you're purchasing at the end of this year, and that means they'll go in about a year from now?
I think the goal right now, at least in my mind, is to get it done at the end of the year or right at the first of the year. And staff has said it would take them, with their staff levels right now, about 3 months to change out all the dryers. But some of the people they've already talked to that actually are willing to sell us those dryers they can also put a crew in, and they figure they can do it in about 30 days. So we probably...
And they'll take away the old ones?
They'll take away the old ones. I don't know, there will be some residual value in some of those. I don't know what that's all got to be thought out over the next 8 or 9 months. So.
Okay, very good. Now, another ongoing thing a project that I know you've been involved in for quite a while is the street lights. And how is that going? I know there was some delay because of Edison, and we've talked about that.
Right. We basically we're going to sign a contract with a company. There are several of them that work in the state, and we've chosen one of them, and we're going to bring that up in the board meeting on the 20th, and we're going to sign a contract. And what that contract will do, this company is experienced with going through the whole acquisition process. Because that's a long drawn, it's got 4 phases to it, including going to the CPUC. And Edison has got a very bureaucratic process. They send it through one chain of command, and it comes back and it goes through another chain of command, apparently, and it goes through another chain of command until they all, buy off on it. And one of the things that this company does is to make sure that the inventory that Edison is going to charge us to buy is accurate. Those numbers are accurate, that we've got working poles. One part of, I think, the second phase of this is that Edison wants us to re-tag all of the, they don't want their tags on light poles that we're going to own. And there's like 768 light poles. And this company will come in and take the old tags off and re-tag them, which can be, I don't know how difficult it is, but it's time consuming. And the real benefit with going to this company is that they're going to do the maintenance for us over a 3-year period. I think it's going to be a 3-year contract with them. And we won't have the delay. We've got some outages right now on light poles that have been there since November. And we're in the darkest part of the year, and we don't have enough lighting as it is. So we're going to get a lot better response. In addition to that, these people are very experienced with putting LED lighting onto poles that have had traditionally high pressure sodium or other types of lighting.
So they'll be able to do that.
And they'll be able to tell you, they'll be able to look at how many lumens that are going to need, what the dispersion is going to be. So they're going to have all that expertise that they're going to bring to the table and advise us on which poles we can put arms on to go out over the sidewalk and the streets, because these mushroom head pole light fixtures just do not disperse a lot of light. And we're hoping that with the combination of LED lighting and better fixtures that we can disperse more light without actually having to add hundreds of more poles.
Right. Well, very good. So, that'll be good. Now, walkway lighting, and this is something, again, that's been ongoing for a long time.
It is, and we're in the middle of a pilot right now, and Bert Moldow and I and several other board members and even Steve Leonard from United, we've all gone over at night at different times and looked at the pilot that we've got going. U.S. Energy went out and did a survey, and I think we've got in gates 5 and 6 and found that there were about 588, I guess I'm giving you an absolute number here, around 588 walkway lights. But most of these are these little pagoda style, and they're little. They're about 21 inches to 24 inches off the ground, and they really are more decorative than they are, providing better light on the walkways. And so when they came back to us, we decided that, well, we wanted to put this out to bid. I mean, that's the natural thing to do. Yeah. And we wanted them to put the pilots in so we can get a good idea of what are good fixtures. And do we replace these fixtures, do we put fixtures in, or we just replace the lights that are in there now with LED bulbs, or do we actually go and get an LED fixture that's a closed system that doesn't require maintenance of, changing out bulbs? And so we're hoping that we've gone out and looked, we like what we see, but we asked them again to go back out and add an extension of about 1 foot on these to see if we can get more dispersion. So we're waiting for them right now. But once we decide that which way we want to go with this, we'll have staff issue some RFPs to various vendors who supply LED lights for walkways, and see what the bids are and see if we can get a contract going.
All right, very good. And finally, future energy initiatives. Of course, that's kind of falls into that.
Yes, it does.
Into the lighting.
And there's a whole lot of things going to be happening to. Right now, we know we have a 50-year-old infrastructure, and we're seeing. A year ago, when we were tracking the number of electric vehicles in here, plug-in electric vehicles, not golf carts, we had a page full of cars registered in the community. We just had a meeting last week, and there's 2 pages now, and we're starting to see an increase for the number of people who are going to either hybrids or going to electric vehicles. And we're looking at our infrastructure and going, how are we going to accommodate this towards the future? So in the third Energy Committee meeting on Tuesday, we invited, we've had some United representation, but we invited GRF to come in too, because these issues are not just related to mutual by mutual, but they're related as a community-wide thing. So we want to go forward with some plans. So our first step in all of this is to go out. We're sending out an RFP to hire some consultants to go out and see if we can get some energy, particularly expertise in electric systems.
Yeah, and I know you have mentioned this before, and looking even just a couple years from now, that is going to be a consideration of people moving in here as they buy more and more or lease electric vehicles. Can I plug in my vehicle easily?
That's correct, and manufacturers are already making that changeover. Yeah, I mean, a company like Volkswagen trying to get out from under the fraudulent modifications to their engines is basically declared that they're going to go all electric. And there are other companies you're seeing, many more models coming out. But part of this future energy initiative is to look at other things like community choice aggregation. There are companies out there in the desert who have these huge solar farms who are willing to sell electricity at a lower rate per kilowatt than we get it from Edison. And there are companies around that literally have gone out because the battery technology is improving and have purchased huge battery systems and put them in their factories or their warehouses, and they charge those batteries at night when the electricity rates are much cheaper, and then they use the power during the day when the rates are much higher. And we're going to be probably looking at alternatives like that in terms of can we put these in like a building like this, like the administration building? Would a battery be an appropriate thing? We don't know that, but we want to look at all of our alternatives, even fuel cells, those kinds of things, to try to suppress the amount of money that we're all spending on electricity. And when I talk about community choice aggregation, I'm not just talking about for GRF. I'm talking about actually being able to offer it to residents, because how that works is basically you hire this company, and Edison does all of the delivery of the electricity and the billing. Nothing changes. It's just that you go to a different supplier of your electricity for less money. So there's a whole lot of issues in that we're just starting to look at.
Yeah, so different possibilities out there, but you know, it's kind of nice that there are those possibilities where a few years ago there wasn't.
That's right, and battery technology is improving all the time. I mean, it's and the state is also looking at trying to get more of a distributed network, so you're not so concentrated on central locations for power supply. Right. Because by decentralizing it, it actually in a way makes it more secure.
Oh yeah. So very good, exciting stuff.
That's my little spiel for today.
All right, always good to see you.
Always
Thank
good
you very
to see
much,
you, Ken.
sir, for coming in.
Take care.
And we'll be right back.
Adapt to It believes that you should be able to do the activities at home that are important to you. Being safe and independent in bathing and mobility will make you feel happy and self-sufficient. Let the professionals at Adapt to It assist you to choose the perfect items to help you live the beautiful life you deserve. Adapt to It delivers, bills Medicare, and many of our products are made here in the USA. When you can't change it, adapt to it.
I'm Dr. Leif Loberg, and I want to welcome you to our brand new facility here in Laguna Woods. We've been serving the community since 2006, and we're super excited to bring you an awesome team of doctors, Dr. Jackson, Dr. Asaturians, Dr. Vian, myself, here to serve you in our brand new state-of-the-art facility. Call us in the morning and we'll get you in the same day, guaranteed.
Did you know there are over 400,000 seniors in Orange County today? Over the next 10 years, that number will more than double. So where does a senior or family caregiver go for information? Turn to us at the Council on Aging of Orange County. We can help you navigate the aging experience, understand Medicare, and know where to turn when a crisis occurs. As a local nonprofit since 1973, we serve 275,000 seniors every year. The Council on Aging, helping seniors remain healthy, connected, and protected.
Don't let spine, knee, or hip pain get in the way of your day-to-day activities. Find yourself back on the golf course or continue playing with your grandchildren pain-free. With the latest advancements in stem cell treatment techniques, we can transform the way you look and feel today. I'm Dr. Bidai, a double board certified pain management specialist. Stop by or call our office today to see if you're a candidate for stem cell therapy.
And welcome back. With me right now is Eileen Ordway, and we are talking about the Village Library.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning to you. And you know, we are in Academy Award season, and one of the themes that you folks are doing is offering many of the best pictures over the years and your DVD collection. I didn't realize you had this many.
Yes, I don't think we realized it either.
That's a lot.
We put a display up on the shelves right near our DVD shelves, right on the end of the shelves. I list all the ones we have. We have 69 of the last 85 years. Yes, we actually, the oldest one we have is 1932 Grand Hotel. And we have all but one of the last 20 years. So anyone who's interested in, at this time of year, looking back at some of the old DVD, Academy Award winning DVDs, come on into the library. They're listed on the shelves. Plus on our website now, we have a spot right at the bottom of our front page that says recommendations, and you can click on the list and then you can see which ones are in or out.
Did you have to go out and buy some of these, or you just happen to have them?
Well, most of them Well, once we buy, what we do spend money on, those are the types that we would get.
Okay.
But I really don't know, like the older ones, whether they were donated. They're certainly a lot older than the ones that, you know, we would have purchased.
Right. Yeah.
So I think a lot of them might have been donated. So just to do this display, we started looking into it. Our people started looking into it, and to come up with the list, and we were kind of surprised at how many we really have.
That's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's terrific.
And the fact that the last 20 years you have them, except one.
All but one. 2007 departed. That's the only one we don't have. And it could have, we might have had it and it got scratched, and we just didn't replace it.
Yeah.
But
very good.
yes.
So get on in there and check those out.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. And you also have new DVDs coming into the collection as well.
Yes, we try and, well, we get a lot of donations, but we do spend a certain amount of money each year purchasing DVDs. And what we're trying to start now is to actually put them on a separate shelf, so people, as soon as they walk in the door, they know where to look, instead of having them integrated in with the whole collection. We've done that with brand new books for a long time, but with DVDs, it's a little bit harder because the spine is narrow, and putting a label on it, and we need a label on everything so that our volunteers know where to shelve them. So we were kind of hesitating, but we've had so many requests from our patrons, our residents, asking us to put the new DVDs on their own shelves, that we're giving it a try.
So how do you go about deciding what to purchase? You see, it's both movies and you do TV series, right?
Oh yes, yeah, anything like that, anything that would be on a disc like that. We have committees. For our books, we've had a committee for a long time. Up until last year, we had a gentleman who that was his life. He had a video store. He just knew what people would like, and he purchased all of the ones that we bought over the last couple of years. But now we have a committee for that too. So we're having a little bit of trouble getting it going, and really, deciding, getting the committee to decide is hard, because people have they have different tastes.
Yeah.
So we may not have as many brand new ones as we've had in the last couple of years, but the brand new TV shows, I mean, people are requesting them before they're even released.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, like Ray Donovan and Homeland and The Affair. We've gotten a lot of the BBC shows. Yeah. So yes, we have all them too. I mean, Game of Thrones is still, it's like constantly one of them is out.
Well, that's good that people come in and have those suggestions, because there could be certain shows out there that maybe you're not aware of, and yet they're very popular, and it's something that people would really enjoy being able to take a look at.
Yes. Another way, I'm trying to push our catalog website, but even on there we have what's popular. So that's just based on checkouts. So if something is checked out a lot, it kind of moves up in that list. It's not something that we decide.
Very good.
And then there's also a what's new.
Let me ask you about donations. If people have things, DVDs.
Yes.
And what do you look for? Obviously, you want them to be in good condition.
Yes.
Something fairly new.
Fairly new is better. We do have a lot of, well, like that, 1932, 1934. We do have old things too. But yeah, people like newer things, even here.
Yes. You also have non-English films as well.
We do. Some of them we've put on our world language shelves, which are just on the honor system. They don't get checked out. But we've started to get some in that we're actually putting in our catalog. These are now on this new DVD shelf. We have some in Korean, Hebrew, and Japanese right now, but we'll be getting more. And it's very clear on the spine that it's in a certain language with English subtitles.
Okay, so these are not films that are English films with Japanese subtitles. Just the opposite.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that way people know if they check them out that they're well aware.
Either they know the language or they're reading the movie. Yes.
And you're having some training classes coming up?
We
Tell
are.
me about those.
One of our volunteers has offered to hold classes on how to use our catalog, how to get the best out of it.
Okay.
They'll be held at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just as the library's closing. We haven't selected days yet. It'll probably be a particular day of the week. We'll show people how to search, how to find out what's new, what's popular, what the recommendations are. And in addition, people can log into their own account. They can see what they've checked out over the last 2 years. They can reserve items, renew things that they've taken out but they're not quite finished with. They can update their information, like their phone number and their email address. So we'll have someone who will help explain all of that. We have 2 computers that people can use, that people in the class will use, but if people can bring in their own iPad or laptop, they can use our Wi-Fi. So the class size will probably be from 2 to 4 people.
Okay.
And we'll have sign-up sheets as soon as we pick the day. But if someone's really interested in this, they could go into the library, let the supervisor at the front desk know, and we'll start keeping a list of people who would be interested in being trained.
All right. And now, finally, you talked about this just recently, sort of the decline in people checking out audiobooks and cassettes.
Yes.
Do they still exist?
Well, I don't know if you could buy them, but we still have some. But we found that last year, only 36 of the titles that we have, and I think we had almost 200 left, 200 books on cassette tape. They were checked out and mostly by maybe 10, 11 people. So the people who checked out more than twice, I contacted them. They came in and they were allowed to take whichever of the titles they wanted. We totally weeded them out of our catalog. And now all the leftovers we're putting on a cart right by the front door, and they're for free.
Okay.
So anybody who still has a tape player, a cassette tape player, could come in and take those for free. And then the VHS tapes, the same thing. They're just not being taken out very much anymore, and we still have a whole row of them, probably a couple hundred. And so probably starting in March, we'll do the same thing with those. So anybody who still has a VHS player, they're welcome to come in the library in March, and they'll probably be able to take home some VHS tapes for free.
All right, and it probably won't be long that we'll start to see the same thing happening with CDs and DVDs.
Yes, yes.
In fact, it's already kind of declined, I bet, compared to what it was at one time.
The big thing with what we have, though, it's free.
Yes.
You don't have to pay Netflix.
That's true.
Or
That is nice. Very good, and always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Drop by the library. Is it 10 to 4?
10 to 4 on weekdays, 10 to 1 on Saturday.
Okay, and check out those Academy Award-winning Best Picture movies, 69 of them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah, so
that's
go
a good
by there.
Binge watching. Good binge watching.
Yeah, you'll probably check out things or see things that are there that you haven't seen in years and years and years. So, and that's fun. That's kind of neat you're doing that. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Too, Ken.
We'll take care. Be right back. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Thomas. Welcome to Sports Talk. Come join me here every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. for sports highlights, tournament news, and interviews for Laguna Woods residents and around the world. Hey, maybe even Broadway. It's a beautiful day for a ball game. Put it on your calendar. Thursday mornings, a great way to start your day with me and the Sports Talk way. Or even a triple's okay. I'll see you then.
I'm a strong believer that there's something for everyone out there. But some people never stop searching. I've looked long and hard through these parts, and I thank my lucky stars I stumbled across a special place, a unique place, where you never know what you'll find. The Trading Post, only on Channel 6.
Farmer Boy's new double chili cheeseburger is loaded with super secret recipe beef chili.
What's in the secret chili recipe? Nothing this irresistible can be legal!
He ain't gonna talk. New double chili cheeseburger from Farmer Boy's.
Farmer Boy's is now open in Laguna Hills, located at 23952 Avenida de la Carlota, across from Ashley Furniture. We open at 6 a.m. Monday through Saturday and 7 a.m. Sundays. Laguna Woods residents stop in for a free coffee and 10% off your bill.
South Bay Jewelry has established trust in Laguna Woods for over 35 years. We are expert GIA gemologists and appraisers of jewelry, estates, watches, and valuables. It is evident that South Bay Jewelers' recipe of superior customer service, quality, and trust is the reason for continued success in Laguna Woods. We specialize in custom designing, bridal and anniversary, and watch and jewelry repairs, with all services done on the premises.
South Bay Jewelry, next door to OPA in Aliso Viejo.
Well, with me right now is Dr. Badai from Pacific Pain and Regenerative Medicine. Good to see you again, sir.
Nice to see you again. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pain, let's talk about that. I think we, all have bouts of temporary pain. We're talking about maybe in our joints, maybe we twisted our ankle.
Yeah.
But what you really do and your folks is take a look at people who have chronic pain, figure out what's going on, why, and how to alleviate that, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, really, people come to my office not because of pain, but pain that gets in the way of their quality of life. So people are coming to my office and they are looking at things that they used to enjoy doing and are not able to do anymore. And I try to help them get back to their functional independence. And what we look at typically is pain. And what specifically I normally treat is neck pain, lower back pain, joint pain, and different kinds of musculoskeletal pain. So what I do is try to figure out from the point of the pain generator that is causing these symptoms. And so we try to go to the root of the problem and try to focus on how we can treat them interventionally. A lot of times people have pain that they need to see a specialist, and they think that, oh, it's a normal part of aging, when in fact we can treat that specific pain and get people to enjoy a round of golf or picking up their children, grandchildren, and things like that. So.
Well, I think that, one of the types of pains you hear about so often, that the chronic type pain is lower back and along the spine, sciatica, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And there are times that people go years of not getting any real relief, meaning they may be on pain medications or something, but not any real relief. So what are some of the things that you can do, or you can look at to kind of pinpoint?
Yeah. I mean, we've come a long way from the way we manage chronic back pain. So what you're saying is disc pain that pinches a nerve, and then that pain goes down the legs, sciatica that you described. Well, there's a lot of treatments that we do interventionally. Well, we first will focus on, trying to quiet that inflammation down by maybe adding a steroid, an epidural injection. If that doesn't work, maybe a nerve block, where maybe there's a pain generator in the joints of the spine. What I've tried to do in my office, be very innovative, and we actually are implementing stem cell therapy inside the joints of the spine and into the spine itself, the discs. We are treating a lot of patients with actually stem cells that come from the umbilical cord blood that we can actually implement and deliver under very guided X-ray imaging. So we do that. We're also implementing therapies such as neuromodulation, such as spinal cord stimulators, where we put electrical leads into the epidural space to control chronic inflammation. So we have a lot of innovative, forward-thinking type of treatment options in our practice.
What about the type of pain that comes from arthritis, or I guess other names are tendonitis, and all those itis, right? Bursitis, all those kinds of things. Of course, arthritis is something that's ongoing,
So that's a
and it moves around a lot of people.
It's a pandemic concern. It's an issue. Everyone deals with degenerative changes, and so once the degenerative process starts, it's hard to stop it or reverse it. We are controlling inflammation through different modalities, such as, like I said, the stem cell therapy, where we can actually control the inflammation and heal tissue and control the process. alongside with targeted physical therapy and strengthening and a lot of different kind of analgesics that I try to avoid opiates for as much as I can.
So exercise, how important is that? I guess it depends on the type of condition somebody has, but in general, I've even heard people that have a chronic arthritis who think, well, maybe I shouldn't be exercising, I should just sit and not aggravate, but it's really just the opposite of that, right?
It is quite the opposite. We've had a paradigm shift in our thought process in terms of how we manage pain from 100 years ago, where it was like bed rest, and we've learned quickly that muscle atrophy or disuse can cause weakness, and then what that would do is cause lack of support around the structure that's injured. So arthritis of a joint, what the goal is to take the pressure off of that joint. And so by strengthening the muscles around that joint, you're going to take the pressure off of that joint, which would then take the pressure off of those signals, those nerve fibers that are constantly being irritated. So very, very important is the stretching and strengthening. I tell all of my patients, I try to educate them every day about the importance of a daily stretching, strengthening, range of motion, home exercise program, just as if they were to brush their teeth twice a day. And so, that's how I tell them, like, I really want you guys to, when you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, really focus on a program. Tai Chi is very helpful, or yoga done correctly under supervision is very helpful. Pilates, all of those are important for taking the pressure off of those painful pain generators. So that's what I do.
Well, it's, you have certainly heard over the years people who have certain kinds of back pain and they may be overweight. That part of the key is, well, if you lose some of that weight and start to do some exercise, there's a good chance that some of that pain, if not all, is going to go away because you're now strengthening your abdomen muscles.
Absolutely. So just to your point, I mean, you want to take the pressure off of the painful pain generator. So adding a downward force will cause a little bit of worsening pain. So yes, lifestyle modification is very important. So dietary modification, calorie restrictions, but yes, controlling weight, increasing ambulation or walking, just to kind of increase blood flow. And blood flow will bring perfusion or oxygenation to the damaged tissue, and that's what we really do focus on in our office. So I think that, patient education is a very important aspect of the way that we should practice pain management. But everything we do is not in isolation.
Right.
It's all multimodal. So this therapy, this therapy, this therapy, this type of therapy, this type of therapy. So whether it be the home exercises, whether it be injections, whether it be regenerative medicine, but there's a lot of treatment options that we can do in our office to take, to allow people to live a functional life as much as possible.
Now, one last question. Can they come directly to you? Do they have to go through their primary care provider? How does that work?
Great question. So I'm a Hoag affiliate, so I do take Medicare and I do take PPO insurance, so they don't need to see a primary care doctor to see me. They can come directly to my office, call my office, or go online. I will be implementing telemedicine very soon to have that as an access point for patients who are not able to come to my office directly, but that we are rolling that out in our office very soon, just to try to be very innovative and provide hope and optimism and choices to be very comprehensive in their pain management.
Very good. Doctor, always good to see you.
Yeah, thank
Take
you.
care. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you for
bye-bye.
having me.
We'll be right back.
Don't let spine, knee, or hip pain get in the way of your day-to-day activities. find yourself back on the golf course, or continue playing with your grandchildren pain-free. With the latest advancements in stem cell treatment techniques, we can transform the way you look and feel today. I'm Dr. Bidai, a double board certified pain management specialist. Stop by or call our office today to see if you're a candidate for stem cell therapy.
It's time for a reinvention. It's time to write new chapters in our life stories. Every story includes a middle, where important events unfold. A second act, if you will, where characters learn more about themselves, where people discover how truly different life could be. A reinvention, a retirement. It's time to turn your hobbies into creative businesses, to volunteer using skills gathered across a lifetime, to hit the open road in search of new horizons and fresh faces. It's time to grab those grandchildren and hold them close. Grand adventures. Or simple pleasures. Today's retirement is different. It's not the final chapter in the book of life, but rather a new beginning. A second act.
Life changes, but your routine doesn't have to. With Coastal Medical Alert, you are never alone. With Coastal Medical Alert, there are no hidden fees, setup fees, and your installation and activation of your device are absolutely free.
Coastal Medical Alert is a wonderful thing to have, and I wouldn't be without it.
Coastal Medical Alert, proudly serving the Laguna Woods community. Call today for more information.
Dr. Farman Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry is located right outside Gate 6 and has been keeping the village smiling for many years.
I trust Dr. Farman with all my dental procedures and all my dental work. Thank goodness I found Dr. Farman.
We have been serving the community of Laguna Woods for almost 20 years now. Come and visit us at Brilliant Smile for all your dental needs.
We are close to Gate 6, near Snooty Fox Restaurant, behind Coco's.
Well, our movie coming up for today is called Logan Lucky, and this is from the same people who brought you all the Oceans movies, Oceans 11 and 12 and all those. So it has that type of feel to it. It's pretty much kind of a comedy with a little bit of intrigue in it and espionage. And basically what it's about, it's two brothers attempt to pull off a heist during a NASCAR race in North Carolina, and they figure out a way to sort of quite literally siphon off the money that comes in. A lot of action in this because you're seeing a lot of race action. There's the money I was talking about, how it goes through those tubes, and they find a way to divert it. So it's a fun movie, and a couple people that are in this, Daniel Craig right there, very different character for him. You know, he's played James Bond and those other roles over the years, but he's pretty famous for the James Bond roles, and it's a very different kind of character for him. Channing Tatum is in this. You just saw him there. Adam Driver, who plays one of the brothers, and quirky characters for sure. I think that's the best way you can describe it. But then you get all the kind of fun and action of a NASCAR race as well. So that will be today at 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. So tune in to see Logan Lucky. And then our other movie coming up this week is the new version of Blade Runner 2049. If you recall the original Blade Runner that came out, I want to say like 30 years ago, that took place in 2019, believe it or not. So this is several years later, and the premise is still pretty much the same. A young Blade Runner's discovery of a long-buried secret leads him to track down the former Blade Runner, Rick Deckard, who is, again, Harrison Ford playing that role, and he's been missing for over 30 years, and they have to track down the replicants, if you remember that from the original movie, who are beginning to take over, and they're trying to track down the certain ones, and the other person that is in this as well is kind of the bad guy in this. Ryan Gosling actually plays the role in a sense that Harrison Ford did years ago, although he teams up with Harrison Ford once he tracks him down. So if you like the first sci-fi type movie, Blade Runner, you will really like this a lot, and great special effects, of course, and it's a pretty darn good story as well. So that will be our Friday movie. Now coming up the rest of the month, we have another Harrison Ford movie from way back when, Witness, and this is about an investigator that investigates a murder that has to do with the Amish country. And the Amish boy is the only witness to this murder that happened when I believe he was visiting in New York. And so the policeman, the investigator, played by Harrison Ford, has to go out to the Amish area where they live, and very difficult situation because they don't want to talk to him, and except one person. Kelly McGillis is in this, and she plays one of the young Amish women, and together they kind of form a camaraderie and get the information that they need. But good movie. Hard to believe that came out in 1985. We then have Only the Brave, and that is based on a true story about the Granite Mountain Hotshots, a group of elite firefighters who risk everything to protect a town from an historic wildfire. Josh Brolin and Jeff Bridges are in that. Now, moving on to our other movie that'll be coming up on Friday, The Birdcage. Remember that? With Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, and Gene Hackman. Callista Flockhart is in this as well. Very good movie. This was a fun movie. Of course, it's based on the play Arcadia Fall, which was actually made into a French movie as well. But this one came out in 1996, so the characters are looking pretty young here, but it's a fun movie, and I really enjoyed this. Good music in it, and it's a comedy, but there's also a little bit of drama in this, and really about the connection of these two families that come together when the son of Robin Williams is engaged to Callista Flockhart character, whose parents are very high profile. I think he's a senator in this. So good movie, and that'll be on the 23rd. So tune in for that. Hey, here's another great event that you can go to free here in the village. It's called the Through the Eyes of an Artist, and it's about an exhibition celebrating village residents through portraiture. So we have our local artists that are doing paintings and drawings and photography of residents that you probably know, and you probably know a lot of them. This will be at the Sequoia Ballroom at Clubhouse 2 coming up on February 17th. And it's going to happen from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's free. Just stop on by. So that'll be a lot of fun. You'll go by there and see how many people you recognize. And we've talked about this before. Really talented people here in the village. I mean, look at that portrait right there. And it'd be a lot of fun to go there. So that'll be February 17th. That is Friday coming up. Now, kind of along that same vein, a painting class by Penny Rubin is being offered at the Clubhouse 1 Art Room, and they still have time. This started on the 2nd, but there's still time to go ahead and sign up for this. So who knows? You might be one of the people who, if they have that event about the portraitures of residents, maybe you'll be one of them that do one of those next year. So the fee is $96, but I understand you can still sign up for that. So go ahead and check that out. Maybe you'll be one of our great village artists one day. The weather, I'm liking this weather, and today is going to be one of those days where there could be a little pockets of drizzle, pockets of sunshine, and partly cloudy skies. That's really going to be it. Now, as we get to tonight into tomorrow, there's a much better chance of scattered rain, and really throughout Southern California, they're looking at about a 65% chance, 40% going in to Wednesday. This is a cutoff low, so you're not always sure what it's going to do, but it is possible that we could get rain on Wednesday. More than likely we will, at least in the morning. And then there is a chance that we could get a few little scattered pockets of showers happening all the way to maybe Thursday morning. So we'll see about that. Then mostly sunny as we get to the weekend. So not bad at all. And it's not going to be a lot of rain, but it's much needed, whatever little bit we can get. And also, as I said earlier, Big Bear is getting some snow, or the mountains up there, Wrightwood, all those. It's not going to be a lot, but it's better than nothing, right? So if you are skiers, that's kind of good news. I know we had somebody go up there over the weekend and ski, and there's not much up there right now. So every little bit helps. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to have Dr. Stuart Spencer from Advanced Ear Care. And also, we're going to have Make It Your Own. Stephanie and Lisa are going to get together, and I hear that they maybe have me get involved with this, about a romantic skin scrub, or I don't know. I'm going to have to find out about it myself. Drew will be here and talk about transportation, and also we are going to have a visit from Katie from the tower. So see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Mama used to 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 Mama used to